Hey, Liam Ward here at LearnTheHarmonica.com. Today I'm talking about the difference between tongue blocking and puckering. So, I've seen quite a lot of stuff out there talking about how to tongue block and also how to pucker, but I've had lots of questions about, well, what's the advantage of one versus the other? So I thought I'd try and talk through them with you. I'll be doing some demos on a diatonic harmonica in the key of C. This happens to be a special 20. The thing about tongue blocking is there are certain sounds that it's very much associated with. So if you've ever heard that big fat kind of amplified blues sound, then often that's achieved with tongue blocking. So certain rhythmic and textural varieties that you'll hear in that context are down to tongue blocking. So if you've heard a kind of backing sort of rhythm, like a that kind of, I'm exaggerating using it on every note, but a kind of something backing it up, then that's a tongue blocking technique or associated with tongue blocking. As it is tongue flutters, which are kind of a faster version of that, and tongue switches, so and similar kind of sort of pulsing sort of sounds, achieved slightly different ways, but all associated with a tongue blocking technique. And then one more thing, although octave splits aren't by any means reliant on tongue blocking does help with the transition from single notes to octave splits. So you might be playing, 3 and 6 blow octave split, but that's made a lot easier to get to, I think, if you're tongue blocking. So they're the common things that lead people to tongue blocking, and if you do want to get into learning those techniques, you'll probably need to tongue block. I've got a premium course that you're welcome to check out talking about all of those techniques. There's a link beneath the video, so do check that if you want to. But possibly the biggest reason I wanted to do this lesson was to kind of give some love to puckering as well, because there's a couple of things that I think are really useful with puckering, with lip pursing, as sometimes you'll hear it called. The first is a little thing, but it often goes overlooked. So I call it the kind of diddly diddly technique. Now, if you've heard this sort of thing, that kind of thing, that kind of thing, the diddly, you can only really do that with a pucker, because with a tongue block, without going into too much detail, this isn't really a lesson on how to tongue block, but your tongue is tied up, it's stuck there on the harmonica, so you can't use it to make little flicky shapes. So you can't do that because that's all reliant on your tongue. So pucker technique frees up your harmonica to do that. Now, it's not something you use all the time, but you will hear it. It's useful in folk sort of circles especially, but you do hear it in blues sometimes, especially on that 4 draw. You'll hear someone do in a really fast, like you might hear it with a really fast boogie or something. When you want a really quick articulation, you can't really slap that but you can do it with just a flick of the which lip pursing can do, and tongue blocking can't really. So that's like one little tick for puckering that I just want to mention. But possibly for most people watching this video, maybe the biggest advantage to puckering is that it's by far and away the most accessible way of getting single notes for beginners. And there are always exceptions, and I'm sure I'll get some of you saying in the comments. But most people, when they try and get notes to play clean single notes on the harmonica, they find that the puckering technique is a lot more simple and makes a lot more sense to them than the tongue block. So that's like a massive tick, I think, for puckering, at least to begin with. And if you want to learn how to play a pucker shape, then I have a video which I'll link in the description on playing single notes with that. But if you've heard some of these textures that I've just played and you're interested and you want to be able to use that tongue blocking technique to take your playing in a certain way, and by the way, you don't have to change everything to a tongue block. You can be what I call a mouth-shaped mongrel, where you do a bit of both. A lot of people are. I'm one of them. If you want to look at those techniques, I have a tongue blocking course, a premium course, and there's a link in the description beneath the video, so do check that out if you're interested. So, I hope this has added something. I hope it's been useful. I think there was a little bit of a space for people just describing the difference between the two and what they give you. And I hope that it helps you decide which you want to go with, at least for now. If you have enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate if you'd click like and if you'd subscribe to my channel. I put out free lessons every single week, and if you like and subscribe, then it helps me to continue making content. It helps my channel grow, so I'd really appreciate that. Thanks for studying with me today, and I hope to see you again soon. Cheers.